Dude, that is so unlucky.
This is unbelievable. Yep, truly unbelievable. Oh man, definitely buy that lotto ticket.
And that was the last time Gavin ever guested on Commander Clash.
And thanks for having us, Gavin. This video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Become a legendary supporter of the show by ordering your Commander Legends cards from cardkingdom.com. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Commander Clash. This week, we are diving into Commander Legends. We showcased a few of them last week. It's some of the most popular ones that people are actively brewing right now. But this time around, we're going to be showcasing some of our personal favorite commanders. I know this one is definitely one of my personal favorites. And to really dive into behind the scenes, the behind the scenes of this great set, we have a special guest this week. We have Gavin Verhey, who was the lead vision design on Commander Legends. And Gavin, actually, you probably could better explain what exactly you did for this set. So take it away, Gavin.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be back on Commander Clash. It should be a lot of fun. I got a lot to live up to after my last game. So yeah, what I did for Commander Legends is a lot. So I came up with the initial idea all the way back in 2015, and then spent several years trying to get it made. And then eventually, once it was greenlit and everyone was on board with it, I led the vision design of it, which was creating like all the cards initially, getting the archetypes right, figuring out how the draft was going to work, all that kind of stuff. And then after I finished the vision design, I handed it off to Jules Robbins. So Jules did a lot of the fine tuning on the set, did a phenomenal job. He redesigned a bunch of stuff. I don't want to undersell how much work he did. If you like how all of the legend balances, for example, and how a lot of them are, I think, really like the perfect kind of fit for Commander, Jules did a lot of really great work there. The really unusual thing that happened is after I handed it off to Jules, I did something that was totally unprecedented for almost any Magic set, which is I became the architect for it. So I went straight from like handing off the set to Jules, be like, okay, Jules, you're the designer now, to suddenly managing all other aspects of the product. Or when it came to like the design decisions around like how the product would be like sold and I don't know, like some of the marketing around it and like the ad cards and like all that stuff. So like I've touched almost every aspect of Commander Legends in some way or another. And while it wasn't always me making the final decisions on things, I was involved in everything from the packaging to the key art to all that kind of stuff. So it's been a long time coming on this set. As you know, if you've been following Twitter or Reddit or anything like that, I've been very active in talking about it because I care about it so much. And I am so excited to be here today to finally play some games of this set with all of you.
So your baby, Commander Legends, you've started with it, you pitched it, you designed the vision of it, you were behind design, marketing, everything. And I think it turned out really well. The response has been phenomenal. I've also personally drafted a few times on Magic Online, and I've loved it. It was really, really fun. So I will be the first to say from Commander Clash crew, thank you, Gavin. This was a really job well done.
Thank you. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. I mean, of course, it's a bummer. This is not coming out during a time where we can all play it in person easily, but I'm really glad that Magic Online put in all the work to make it happen. Actually, really, really hats off to the Magic Online team, because when we were working on this set, none of us thought it would be on Magic Online. Like no specialty set like Conspiracy or Battle Bond has ever been on Magic Online. So everyone was kind of like, it's just not going to happen. Don't worry about it. And Magic Online was like, that's not going to occur. But actually, we delayed the set a number of times. It took a long time to come out. And with our last delay to kind of get all of the legends in the right spot, we delayed the set. And Magic Online looked at it and thought, well, you know what? We're building pick 2 cards at a time for Double Masters anyway. What if we just made some tweaks and made it work for Commander? And once again, I just want to give a big thanks to the Magic Online team who really put in the extra mile to get this thing online, which we didn't know at the time, but would be incredibly important right now because of how the world is with COVID. So just thanks Magic Online. I'm so glad that we're able to play today because of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was very fortunate that it ended up being on Magical Line, or else I think nobody would be able to, or very few people would be fortunate enough to be able to draft currently. So that is amazing. All right, so now that we've got the intros out of the way, let's talk about what decks we're all bringing. So I actually wanted to start it off with Seth. What Commander Legends commander have you chosen this week?
So I am playing the legend that has been most requested by far, and one that I've been wanting to build around literally since the moment I first saw it previewed and showed up on my Twitter, which is Hans Eriksson, who people say looks a bit like me. I feel a connection with the beard there, and also kind of the personality, I think. Hans is just like having a good time, smelling the flowers. So I feel kind of a bit of a kinship with Hans. So I'm playing Hans. I'm actually the aggro deck this week. Hans is all about hopefully slamming big things into play from the top of your library when it attacks. If the top card of your library is a creature, you get to put it into play tapped and attacking. So I got a bunch of big things to put into play. Hopefully some ways to protect Hans, because Hans also gets fought by the creature when it comes into play. So if you put a big thing into play, Hans probably gonna die, but there's some shenanigans to get around that. So yeah, I'm really excited for this deck. It seems like a really, really fun build around, and very different than my normal kind of dirtily play style. Hans is gonna make me attack, and hopefully get some value with the Hans trigger.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
Saffron, one of the most popular questions I've gotten with Commander Legends since everything started coming out is, did you intentionally model Hans after Saffron Olive? And as far as, I just want to let the be known for the world, as far as I know, there was no intentional modeling there. I checked like the artist notes, and that wasn't in there or anything like that. I don't know whatever the artist did. But I will say that the moment I saw that artwork come back, even I internally was like, that looks a lot like Seth. So I mean, it's been there since the beginning on this one, and I'm really glad you have a card that looks a little bit like you in the game.
Yeah, me too. And I'm excited to play it, because not only does it look a little like me, but it seems like a really fun commander to build around.
A little?
So.
A lot.
A little bit.
A lot.
I also I like the ethos of just like smelling the roses and everything. I think the rose is actually a symbolism for jank, so it kind of all goes well together. All right, next up we've got Krim. What commander are you running?
I am running Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant. I am building a deck that I actually also built in paper. Well, I mean, it wasn't too much of a shift for me because I already had an Amanatu deck. But I am going to be playing, the Krim special, and I'm going to be playing Esper, and it's going to be a little Planeswalker friendly.
A little bit.
A little.
Yeah, Nevinyrral does not destroy planeswalkers, so that's a nice little quote-unquote bug/feature you found there.
Yes, I perfectly maneuvered my deck to, well, outside of a few mana rocks, to not get blown up by my own Nevinyrral. And that's, like, I really like Nevinyrral. I think this is just a sweet card. I also love the art because it has his disc on his neck.
Yeah, that's a nice little callback. I also like that it's fairly open-ended on what he wants to be doing too. Like, it obviously works really well with Super Friends, but I saw some sweet brews as well with like a sacrifice deck that has a little bit of a zombie tribal theme to it as well. So there's a lot of different ideas going around with Nevinyrral, and they all seem really sweet. All right, and next up we have Gavin. Which commander did you choose?
Well, there are a lot of commanders I love in this set. It was actually really hard to choose one, but ultimately I went with one that has captured my imagination since the very beginning. Ever since Ethan Fleischer pitched it, I have a picture of the original design on a whiteboard, because when I wrote it down, I was like, this is cool. I hope it makes it in the final set, and it did, in a much different version. But it is Obeka, the commander that ends the turn. And I've got some fun nonsense to do. There's a lot of stuff you can do with Obeka. Now, it's weird that not all of it is synergistic. We'll see how it ends up working out in the game. Some things want you to end the turn like immediately, and some things really, really want you to end the turn at the end of the turn once the end of the turn triggers are on the stack. So we'll see how it all works. But there's a lot of fun to be had here. There are mini infinite combos with Obeka that I did not put in this deck because I personally try to play Commander without infinite combos. But there's still plenty of shenanigans to be had. I can still do things like take an extra turn or two. So I'm excited to see how it all lines up. And maybe, if all goes well, I'll beat you with the Phyrexian Dreadnought, and we'll see what happens there.
Ooh.
Very old school. Okay, I didn't want to pepper you with questions before we even entered the game, but there was one question that I have on Obeka. The decision to make it the player whose turn it is may end the turn instead of just your own turn, that opened up some interesting possibilities. Was that always from the design at the beginning, early stages? Do you know that?
No, it actually wasn't. So the original version of Obeka was quite different. I have the playtest card right over here. I can see it from where I'm sitting because it was in my video earlier this week. So you can go and watch that for the full thing. But the short version was, the original version of it was just a blue-red commander, and it was a 1/1, and you could pay mana to end the turn and get a time counter, and then you drew a card. But you had to pay mana equal to the number of time counters you had. So as you ended the turn more and more and more, it would get more and more expensive. Anyway, that's what we handed off to Jules. Jules, something he added wisely at my advising as architect was he added 3 color legends into the set. And so he bumped Obeka up to from being blue-red into being blue-red-black.
Yes.
And which was a great add. That was a great decision. And actually, a lot of characters picked up their 3rd color there. Nevinyrral was white-black originally and ended up being white-blue-black, all that kind of stuff. So Obeka, once it came to be the version that was tapped to end the turn, it stayed like that way for a while. And my recollection is during a late pass on the set, one thing that you often do when you're a lead designer of a set is like after things are like really locked down, right? You're like, okay, I've got the set in the shape I want. I've got most of the right text on these cards. I think I know everything I want to do. What you do a lot then is you just like stare at the file and go through every card and think about like all the different ways this card could go. And my understanding, if I remember correctly, is Jules was looking at Obeka and was just like, hey, what if we made a very small tweak here that had a not functional change for yourself, but made it slightly more interesting in multiplayer play. Just gave you a little bit more of extra play, let you affect other people. And we often do things like that, letting you, changing cards for commander decks to affect everybody or what have you. And this was a great example of a very tiny tweak being added to the card that gave it a tiny bit more play, and I think creates some really fun political moments. So we'll see if it comes up today. I know, in my playing of this deck so far, I've wanted to use my Obeka pretty much every single turn for myself, but if there are anywhere I won't want to do it, I'll definitely be happy to offer it up to you and see if there's any support I can give you all. Or just activate it during your main phase randomly and see if you click yes. We'll see what happens.
That is very likely to happen to me, by the way. I just always click yes on whatever or no. Actually, no, never mind. It's no. Do you want to put your commander back in the command zone? No. Okay.
Your Nevinyrral triggers on the stack. I don't know. You want to end the turn? Anyone want to end the turn?
That sounds good. Sounds like a good
you
time.
Might you probably would get me. If you do it, you would definitely get me at some point.
Nice.
The original, in case it's a fun fact for everyone out there wondering, the original playtest name for Obeka was Ziz, Siphoner of Time. So we've come a long way since Ziz. Now we're here.
I'm just happy that Grixis got love. So I feel like I'm always like advocating for more Grixis cards. So I'm just always really excited to see Grixis get anything.
I think it's smart.
So there's this really fun role reversal where so during design, when I was vision designing the set, one of the things I discovered very early is that more colors was just always better, right? If you were drafting and you could draft a 4 or 5 color deck, you just would always take it. Which is why there weren't any 4 or 5 color legends in the set. And when I handed the set off to Jules, I was very adamant in my handoff. The set needs to stay 2 colors. Don't allow people to draft more than 2 color decks, because you either draft a 2 color legend or a 2 color partner. So I handed it off to Jules, and then I became the architect for the set, so I was now advising Jules on a lot of his design. And a month later, I was I think the set needs some 3 color legends. So I sat down with Jules and went against my own handoff document, which was this very strange situation. Because normally if a design handoff document is do this thing, it's very important, and then your architect comes in later hey, I think you should change it, there's this big meeting with all the right people, right? Or we're gonna have this big discussion between design and architecture and the lead designer as to what we should do. And in my case it was just well, I know what I wrote, I know I said this thing, but actually I think this is what we should do. So that was this funny moment, and I'm so really glad we got to have 10 3-color legends, because I agree they could all use a little more love, and it let us do some things that we couldn't normally do in commander decks that we were never going to blow out the full way, for example, the Cascade Commander and things like that. So yeah, really happy we got a Grixis one in there for you.
Yes. Yes, Grixis is
and
on
a
the
good
map.
one.
Grixis is on the map again.
Well, I'm also really happy with the 2-color commanders that actually came not in the Commander Legends draft set, but as precons that came alongside with Commander Legends. And my favorite of the bunch has to be Wyleth, Soul of Steel. This is a Boros aggressive commander. Basically, it's card draw for Boros decks that focus on auras and or equipment. The precon Armed for Battle, which Wyleth comes with, is a little bit more focused, leaning towards equipment, and I went in the other direction. I'm focusing more heavily on auras, so this is kind of like an Enchantress deck, specifically an aura deck. It's somewhat aggressive with Wyleth as one of the main sources of card draw. So I'm going to be encouraged to be attacking, but there's more stuff going on in the background. There's a lot of Enchantress themes going on, and White is really, really good at auras. So there's a lot of really cool aura specific cards that I get to showcase in White, or hopefully get to showcase through White. And Red is also really good at supporting it as well. There's some really powerful and fun cards to mix it up with. So I'm really excited with this. Wyleth and Arumi are my top 2 favorite commanders from the set overall. So I get to showcase both of them back to back, and I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad you liked Wyleth so much. I know when we were making it, this was like, hey, we'll give Red-White a commander that lets you draw a bunch of cards, and I was super excited about the possibility. And then originally Commander Legends was going to come out before Zendikar Rising, but then of course that's how it ended up working out in eventuality. And so I was worried that Akiri might steal some of the thunder from Wyleth, but it looks like that's not what happened, and there's still a lot of excitement around Wyleth, which is great. And I'm very excited to see how your deck plays out today.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing to me when they both came out so early, but I think they also, even if you both build them both as equipments, they have very different approaches. Like Wyleth wants all the equipments on himself, whereas Akiri wants you to have at least like 3 creatures equipped and attacking separate people. So there's different card selection options for that. And then also the fact that he supports auras, I find is actually even more interesting to me, because I really love the aura archetype. I think that's something that White and Boros to an extent do really, really well. And there's not a lot of good options to lead it. Like there was SRAM, there's Tiana, there's like Uriel, but like Wyleth is the one that I was looking forward to the most. So this is kind of fantastic for me. I'm really excited for it.
Cool, great. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Well, now that we've got the deck intros out of the way, let's hop into the game.
I really want a Jeweled Lotus. I have not cast a Jeweled Lotus yet. I'm really hoping for turn 1 Hans off Jeweled Lotus, and then we can just like go to game 2 or whatever after I stomp you.
And then we can talk about Jeweled Lotus for the entirety of the match.
Looking forward to it.
I know, Gavin, you've already like spoken on what was that show? You've already spoken about Jeweled Lotus in depth, I believe. So I wasn't going to bombard you on that for sure. But don't worry, there's a lot of things we can bombard you about, because Commander Legends
I don't even think
set.
Jeweled Lotus is that bad. So I don't know. I think it's a fine card.
Yeah, I mean, I think in retrospect for me, the thing with Jeweled Lotus is that it's very like 0 or 60, right? Mm-hmm. Either it's ridiculous or it doesn't do anything, which is maybe not where the format should be. But as far as power level, I think it's fine. Just the games where it's going to spike are frustrating. So anyway, we'll see what happens. When everyone in the chat tells us this is rigged, now we'll have this game to go back and show them how rigged it really is.
It is indeed rigged.
Look, it is rigged. I won again.
Wow, the magic. Oh, and now
I go last.
I have a 0 lander again. Okay, I'll keep. I have 3 lands. I'm keeping this. Oh my gosh, this is the first hand I've had more than like 1 land.
I need a red source.
I think it worked out for you, Tomer, because you were right behind Krim last game. Now you get an entire turn cycle. Like, the seat right after Krim is the worst seat, because he always has his counters up.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't listen to them, Gavin. I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't have a red source, but the rest of this hand is, I can play everything else except for my commander. That seems fine. That seems, I'll get there. What's the worst that can happen?
I will keep this. Oh, no. No, come on. All right. Yeah, it's
Was it a greedy 7?
No, not that. It's just I really wish I didn't draw that card. A certain card in my hand right now.
Did you draw Temporal Mastery on the first turn or something?
No. I don't have any
A
extra
ley
turn
line,
spells.
perhaps.
It's always fun hard casting your ley lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Drawing the ley line on the first turn, it feels bad.
Yeah, I love when the ley line is the 8th card. It's like, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair though. Ley lines, I mean, you should get a little bit of a drawback for getting to put them into play for free.
Oh, yeah. It's just always funny. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it does feel super bad.
Oh, yeah, thank you for completing the cycle, by the way, Gavin, in this one.
Oh, yes.
The bond cycle is awesome.
One of my favorite screenshots I saved is a screenshot of Reddit on one monitor, which is like on the day Battle Bond released, being like, hey, why aren't the other 5 of these in existence? And on my other monitor, a picture of all 5 in the file. And for Commander Legends, just think about temporally. I know that doesn't make any sense as a player, but these cards were already in Commander Legends before Battle Bond came out, right? So that is a weird feeling, and it's like people for years, ever since Battle Bond hit, are like, when are you gonna make the other 5? And the whole time, I just have to be like, in my head, I already know when they're coming out. They're in this set. I've been working on making them since before you told me you wanted them, but it's just gonna take a while, right? And that's part of the gig.
That's always that must be like I would always be just sitting there sweating when anyone asked me anything if I knew that. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds cool. Good idea.
So
yeah, no, there's a lot of those. Also, the number of times, I mentioned earlier how long it took to get the set made. The number of times people would come up to me and be like, "Hey, have you ever thought about like, check this out, a draft set for Commander?" And I'd be like, "Wow, that's a really interesting idea. I wonder if there's any legs to this one."
You probably got a lot of that once the Game Nights video came out with Brandon Sanderson, I believe. He had a cube draft. Sure. And then there was a lot of buzz on that. Oh my goodness.
How
did I get there? I don't know how that got there.
Nevinyrral blows up enchantments, right? Artifacts, creatures, enchantments.
Yeah, it blows up enchantments.
Gavin, if you haven't played against Krim yet, this is a signature spell on him. If you do a signature spell book, Krim, this is going to be the first card in there.
Can you figure out what other card goes with this spell book?
Now, I got to ask, before this first counterbalance trigger resolves, how many spells is Krim going to blind counter this game with counterbalance? Anyone want to take a guess?
I usually hit 0, but
that's what I was going to say. The best part of it is Krim hardly ever actually counters anything with counterbalance. He just plays it every week and then whips on basically every flip. So it's not as scary as it looks.
Oh, he revealed
a
0 drop.
I think the amount of times I've had counterbalance is way higher than the amount of spells I've ever actually countered with counterbalance.
I'm now so happy I'm right before Krim and not like right after him. That makes me feel really much better.
I really like having Saffron Olive there as a spell tester for me.
Yeah,
you're all welcome.
Test the waters a bit.
I can do that. So, Gavin, you mentioned years. Like, do you remember when you first had the epiphany of this Commander Legends? Are you talking like 5 years ago? Like, how long ago was this really?
Yeah, I know the exact moment. It's a very, I don't know, like Back to the Future style thing, I guess. So, I was at Grand Prix Vancouver up in Canada in 2015. And, I was hanging out with my friend, Jeremy Petter. Now, Jeremy is a member of Loading Ready Run. He doesn't do as much as he used to, but still does quite a bit. And no, this is going to resolve now. Perfect.
I'll still use the ability.
But that weekend, he was carrying around a box of Conspiracy everywhere because Conspiracy was pretty fresh and new at the time, maybe under 6 months old. And we were talking about like what other possibilities there were for Conspiracy-style sets. And then one of his favorite formats is Commander. And at one point, the idea of like, he said, I like Commander. I was like, what about a draft Commander format? And then it all clicked. And so, you know, like all weekend long, whenever I'd see somebody, I'd be like, hey, what do you think about this draft commander thing? And they'd be like, oh, that sounds cool, whatever. And we started brainstorming all of the challenges that would go with it or what have you. And when I got back to the office on Monday, I put it to the real test, which was I like immediately pitched it to Sean Main and Ethan Fleischer, 2 other designers who sat by me. And they were like, that sounds great. And it was at that moment that I was like, oh no, heuristic study. It was at that moment that I was like, okay, there might be some really real legs of this thing. So that's basically when it started, was Grand Prix Vancouver 2015. And, you know, that was nearly 6 years ago now. So it's been a very long journey here.
Yeah, that is quite the journey. Jeez. Was
I'm
it
glad
a
you got
tough
to set through?
Oh yeah. Was it a tough sell at first, or were people pretty much like on board with, and it was just a matter of figuring out like how to do it and how long it would take to actually get it out?
Yeah, it was a tough sell to a lot of people at first, but also there's just so many questions to answer about Commander Draft. Like most things, you're like, how are we going to do it? We're going to draft it. It's magic. It's going to work. With Commander Draft, it's how are you going to do it? You know, like you have to figure out all the intricacies around how you can even make a Commander Draft format work. And that had a lot of questions from people. Actually, I have some of the original cards for this too. My original pitch all the way back in the beginning was you would open up a pack, and then at the front of the pack, there would be 4 legends. And then actually the ad card for the pack was after the 4 legends. And on the front of every ad card, it said, do not look further, draft your legends before drafting the rest of this pack. And so you would draft your 4 legends, and then you would draft the rest of the booster pack. So that was like, that was my way of being like, oh, you draft your legends first or whatever, and then you draft the rest of the set. But we eventually figured out a way to make it work where we could just put legends in every pack. And you know, you can just draft them normally, which I'm really happy about. So there's a lot of different iterations I went through on basically every phase of the process.
It feels like it ended up in a pretty good place. Like, when I've drafted, it hasn't felt that hard to get the legends I need to make my,
Shouldn't have paid the 1, Seth.
Crim.
Shouldn't have paid the 1.
You were going to reveal it either way.
I mean, yes, also true. But
oh, I'm attacking you so hard if I ever resolve a card.
Yeah,
wow, that is
after you pay the 1.
I've done 2 drafts so far, and both times it seemed very easy to make sure that I had a fully functional deck at the very end. Like, it wasn't difficult at all. Because like the archetypes are pretty well defined, and there's a lot of redundancy, and then picking 2 cards per pack made it just really, really easy. So I've enjoyed that aspect of it.
That's what I was starting to say before Crim flying flipped his counterbalance. But yes, I agree.
Don't mind me, just hanging out.
And just crimming around.
Just crimming around and hanging out.
Yeah, I would say, you know, I'm overall very happy with how it turned out. There's a few things about the draft format, like as far as some of the cards in the set that I would probably tweak in retrospect, although granted a lot of that was jewels. But, you know, that happens anytime you release a set, right? No matter what you do, after you see people play it, you're always like, oh, I wish I'd done a couple things differently. With the format, I mean, I know there was a lot of discussion around like, okay, why is it 60 cards instead of 100 cards? What about the singleton rule? But ultimately, like we put everything into place for a reason. And I think a lot of those reasons have borne out in gameplay, you know, like people can get to reasonable 60 card decks in a draft. It's a lot harder to get to reasonable 100 card decks. I'm frankly kind of glad you can deck out sometimes, like watching Magic Online matches. It's just nice that the games end at some point, because a lot of players, one of the things that I noticed is a lot of players are very afraid of attacking in Commander, having been in a number of Magic Online games now. And so like the games just don't end at the rate we thought they were going to end at. And so, first of all, if you're drafting, you should be attacking more. But second of all, at some point the game's got to end, and I think that's important. So
I was going to ask you that, because that's been my. If I had one criticism of the drafting, like the draft is fun, the cards are fun, but the games I played are just like so grindy and draining. And it might be partly, as you said, like players should attack more, or maybe people should draft their decks differently. Was there any consideration to going like 30 life maybe instead of 40 life or anything like that in a like further effort to speed up the actual draft games a little bit?
Yeah, we tried out all the different life totals, 20, 30, and 40. And we stuck with 40 for a few reasons. First of all, one of the big things we wanted to try and preserve was once you started playing the game, you were just playing Commander. You didn't have to like put on, there are extra rules for the draft and gameplay, but once you actually started playing, it was just Commander. And I thought that was like a really nice direction to go. The other thing is, I think if it had been 30 life, you have a risk of games ending too quickly, because if you look at like Conspiracy 2, that format was way too fast. I thought you weren't playing this card today.
Oh, no. It's not my commander. It's not my commander. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. But I mean, I like the, well, I'm going to play this quote-unquote Nevinyrral deck, but what we really have going on
is my Aminatu deck.
Oh, my goodness.
It's not a lock. I mean, we're not even close to a lock yet.
It's not as bad as a Sensitive Divining Top, to be fair.
Yeah.
And now you have that going with Counterbalance.
I mean, you should be able to kill it, right, Tomer? It's right there for the killing.
Yeah, if you leave the Wyleth alone, I will kill the Aminatu. I think maybe. I don't know. I need to resolve a spell, too.
Well, I'm going to let you know what's on top of the deck. Krim, if you somehow... Would you put a 5 on top of your attack? You wouldn't do that, would you? Well, that would be a weird number to choose.
Would be a weird... I would assume it's like a 3 or a 2 or a 4, right?
If you chose a 5 and put some random Ashiok or something on the top of your deck, I'm going to be so salty.
That would be weird, though, because me and Gavin wouldn't be able to cast a 5-drop.
You even get to draw a card, Krim. I can't even pay. How about...
That does mess up the Aminatu, whatever you put up on top, right? Kind of,
yep,
maybe?
It does.
Wow. Yeah. I can't believe you played Ristic Study, man. What an amateur.
You know...
I can't believe you didn't pay for the one, Seth.
Oh, I resolved a thing. Okay, we're getting there. We're doing it. Perforos is really good because Hans likes having haste. That does improve Hans quite a bit.
He also gets around the Counterbalance and
a lot
Ristic
of big
Study.
Creatures.
The sneak attack function gets around both of those.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I honestly am not really built around Perforos outside of wanting it for haste, and I do have some like big creatures, but I'm not really any Perforos shenanigans. It's mostly just like an indestructible enchantment to give my stuff haste.
Fair enough.
Let's see here. What do I want to do?
I think I keep stacking the online triggers wrong.
Gavin has to test the waters now.
Well, you know it's not a 5, so if you got
it could be anything.
A land drop or something.
Krim drew a card.
A card has been drawn, so now it could be anything.
That's true.
I think
it's getting a little risky here.
The one thing that for draft, the one thing I was kind of hoping for though was you did mention that it's good that people mill out, but I found at least when I was playing Arumi, I was doing a lot better when I avoided taking running any of the self-mill cards. Like, I think I ran Crow of Dark Tidings because it was a really nice evasive beater, and it was a good way to get the Monarchy. But there's like Corpse Churn at common, and there's another one, Strategic Planning at common. And I initially ran them, but I found myself getting, like, I ran like 2 or 3 copies of them, and I found myself getting to the point where I would mill out way too quickly. So I ended up taking them out, and my deck actually functioned way better with just having like a single self-mill card, Crow of Dark Tidings. And I would never encore it. Encoring it ended up being a huge trap because, yes, it felt really good to mill 12 cards, but beyond that, it was not great. It usually didn't end up letting me win the game before I milled out. So it would have, I feel like with so many self-mill cards in the pool because they're at common, it would have been great, I don't know, to find a way to put cards from the graveyard back to the library. At least that's my personal, like, very small anecdotal experience.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where, you know, in this world that we live in, people are like, oh man, I wish the games, I wish the deck size was larger, or there was 30 life or whatever. And an alternate universe where people are playing with 40 life, or with 30 life, they're like, man, I wish it was 40 life because it was more like Commander, you know? So it's like a very, I'm not sure that it would have ever been perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna play this. I think just leave it up. See if any fun can happen. Fun can happen here.
It's fine.
I'm gonna misclick. I'm going to misclick. I know it.
I mean, we can team up in combo. Like your commander combos with my Perforos, right? You wanna earn some favors for the future.
That's some disgusting politics right there. Oh.
We can be friends.
The Scourge.
So when did you know this set was coming to Moto? Like, did you know that before all the pandemic stuff started, or were you like a little bit worried, like, oh no, I've put so many years into this set, and now we have, not much paper magic happening? Or did you already know that Moto was going to be there to kind of save the day to some extent?
No.
Yeah. So I think it was like late last year, really early this year, when we confirmed it was going. I think it was maybe like January of this year, where we confirmed it was going to be on Magic Online. So it was really before the pandemic got into full swing. But very quickly, like once we hit March or whatever, I was like, wow, I am so grateful that it was going to be on Magic Online. Cause it really was like the last bit of delays that let us do it. And the fact that Double Masters was going to be coming out that let us do it. So I'm super grateful to the Magic Online team that they put in a ton of work to make it happen, because, like it is such a boon that we're able to do this right now, that all the cards, like it's every card is on here, right? There's not like just a picked and choose, portion of it that's all draftable. Yeah, it makes me very happy.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked, because I've been playing Moto for a long time. That's the primary way I play Magic, and we've never really had supplemental sets, and we have the long history of like getting some of Commander products, but the harder cards are sometimes left out. So when I heard it was actually not just coming to Moto in like treasure chest, some of the like random easy cards, but the whole thing, I was kind of blown away. So definitely a huge shout out to Magic Online for actually getting that done, because I'm imagining it wasn't easy, or else you would have all the battle bonds and all those other sets would just always be on Magic Online.
Yeah, the thing that I know I've talked with Chris about, we had an interview on Good Morning Magic earlier this year where we talked about this a little bit, is this does now open the door a little bit to actually put Conspiracy and stuff like that on Magic Online. It's not free, of course, it would take some work still, but it's a lot closer now than it ever was before, because you have the draft and built-in multiplayer gameplay going on. So I know I am personally really hopeful that someday we'll be able to draft Conspiracy 1 and 2 on Magic Online. And maybe Battle Bond is a little more of a stretch, the two-headed giant interface and all that, but who knows? It's possible. And I think that would be rad, because I love those sets, and that could be like an amazing thing to bring back during like the holidays or, the summer or something like that.
Oh, that would be super cool to be able to play those sets on Magic Online.
Oh, I'm so sad. We used to have two-headed giant online. Just break it back.
I don't know if anyone
Gavin.
played it though.
We played it one
it was
time for Commander Clash. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh, what do you have up, Krim?
There's dozens of us. Dozens.
I don't want to get Blightsteel Colossus out of nowhere, so
Is it a hull breacher? Are you gonna hull breacher us?
If maybe somebody draws a card.
All right, let's play this as a land. Oh.
Of course, also assuming that Gavin doesn't want to end the current player's turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to work together here, Saffron.
Wait.
If there's something you want to do that is beneficial to both of us, we can have a little conversation.
What about if you remember we're not as aggressive right now, or maybe I don't know about like Obeka could be aggressive, but I'd be amazed if you were an aggro deck.
I'm trying to be aggressive. Look at me. I
know exactly. You are aggressive.
All right, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening.
Let's end the turn right now.
How about a Hellkite Tyrant?
Jeez.
And then since Krim has some juicy artifacts,
that doesn't destroy the artifacts. It just changes it over to you.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having those artifacts.
I'm sure you wouldn't.
It's only 6. It's not a Blightsteel, so it's not what you were worried about.
Resolves.
And you're going to blow up all those artifacts with your commander anyway, so what do you care?
Okay. I see I've got a mark on my head early, respectfully, and it is warranted. It is warranted.
How could this have happened?
Yeah.
What would cause such a thing?
I mean, you're just one with the artifacts. Like, that's why it's coming at you.
Yeah, that is fair. If you didn't have 2 artifacts, we'd probably go for Gavin.
Whoa, tapping it, Krim. Let's talk about this.
No, I'm not going to let you have that untapped. Here you go.
Aw. The extra mana would actually been really helpful.
You could pay the 1. That's not good.
All right, well, I mean, that's not I don't know. I guess that's not bad for 3 mana. Like, I lose my Hellkite Tyrant, but I get a couple mana rocks. That seems fine.
Well,
3 mana double deck Faded?
So Gavin, I don't know what I can do to directly help you at the moment. Although, if you would like me to keep my Hellkite Titan around, I can tell you it won't attack you. And maybe you want me to attack Crim some more since he's got the counterbalance and is gonna stop all your fun stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we can make an arrangement here. I trust you. You're a good man.
wait,
All right.
what?
I mean,
oh no.
it'll be a friendly Hellkite Tyrant
Friendly Hellkite
if you want to
Tyrant.
keep it around.
Oh,
I don't think that's such a thing, but
Obeka value. Yes, we will. I never thought I would click yes to an Obeka trigger on my turn, but here we are. turn 5 of game 1 with Obeka, and we're already doing it.
this is just some good magic right here.
I also love the flavor of Obeka. Brute Chronologist. I just love the fact that she like punches time in the face to end it.
Yeah, she does not fool around.
Also Ogre.
Let's do this.
Ooh. Oh no, are we going to be trading around the artifacts, perhaps?
Well, let's see what happens with this counterbalance before anything. I think we've all committed to just letting Crim draw 5,000 cards. So.
What?
Yeah, I have a thing about not paying for Ristic
I
Studies.
paid.
No!
Oh,
come
Deadly
on.
Rollick is
Wow.
not one that you want your opponent to know about.
Yeah, well, I think you'll live with it given this. Wow.
Oh,
That is savage.
Crim is going off with this counterbalance.
I've counted the most spells blind flipping like this game, I think, than my entire time playing Counterbalance.
Well, I had a real nice turn planned out, but I guess not so much anymore. So we're gonna have to go to Plan B,
Times
which
change.
is way less impressive. But I can. This is a nice one. I can do this.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at that ramp.
Wow, Grixis
Grixis
ramp.
Yeah.
ramp. I like it.
So it's not quite Identity Thief your guy forever.
Oh,
But, you know,
yeah, I just
it's
realized
something.
that. You could have taken
now-
like, the Tyrant or the Wyleth.
Yep.
Yeah, now I see why my Hellkite Tyrant survived. It all makes a lot more sense now.
But what are you gonna do now, Gavin? There's a dragon.
The dragon's going to
Whatever.
Grim.
He's not going to attack me. I gave him a free dragon.
Yeah.
Is that okay? All right.
We're-
Probably true.
Feel good about this.
You got the counterbalance. Counterbalance is a card I don't know why you
Didn't we
always
talk
play
about
it because it gets you killed. Like it makes you attack you. It makes everyone attack you.
It does.
And your
it does.
counter
It's
is
not-
spell like 20% of the time with the trigger.
What's that? The Pikachu shocked face has counterbalance. Wonders why people hit him.
Okay, Crim. I would like to make an offering for you. I'm going to let you draw
Okay.
3 cards. And
Whoa.
I will also stop the Hellkite Tyrant.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, that sounds pretty juicy.
What? You're teaming up with the
What a show of
counterbalance player?
generosity.
But why does that sound like there's going to be something that kills me out of this?
No, I'm not even attacking you. I don't know all, but I don't want to make
Well, you don't
enemies.
have to directly attack me to kill me. I know that, Tomer. And you even said what was his budget, your deck. So
I did not. I
twice-
didn't say the B word. I did not say
Oh,
the B
okay,
word.
okay.
Editor.
I mean,
Cut the.
we'll see. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I mean, I have no qualms with that.
Well, I mean, I could just attack you and make you use whatever.
I don't have. I have counterbalance.
I know. So
I've drawn a lot of lands, which now
Okay.
now it's like, haha, Shuffler showing me
All right,
that I am playing.
Let's
38
just start
lands.
with this. Let's start nice and easy. Just Crim, be cool.
I'm being cool. You're not gonna hit me, right?
I'm not hitting you, and
Okay.
I'm pacifying the Hellkite Tyrant.
You can't play counterbalance and say no to the blind flip, Crim. That's just not.
Well, it's not blind. I know it's on
Well,
top.
I'm letting you draw a card.
Yeah, it's going to be blind.
So
oh
Crim,
yeah.
Crim,
I see what you're saying.
You,
Crim.
you can't say no. You can't. That's so much potential value to pass up.
I actually am going to say no because the amount of 1-drops that I have in my deck are very low. So
I really hope you draw 1-drop.
Yeah.
if I do, I will feel the sadness, but we'll find out.
We're trying to help each other out, Crib, for once.
It's very rare that Tomer wants to help me, so I'm very suspicious of this.
I'm not trying to hurt you. Ooh.
Directly.
I can't wait to watch the video afterwards and find out what Krim draws next.
Editor, if it's a 1-drop?
I know this game, but I want to feel justified.
All right. We're cool, Krim?
3-drop, though.
Well, no. I'm not attacking you. I could attack you.
Okay, let's see it. I mean...
Well, I can't do anything to the Tyrant right now. I mean, I
What?
could.
Hold on. If it's not going to deal with the Tyrant, then what do we...
Fine. You caught me.
I mean, okay, fine. Do whatever you want to do. I mean, you don't have to, like, listen to me.
I just want to protect my... I want to protect my Wyleth. Yeah. But I'm not attacking you, Krim. We're keeping that going.
I'm getting a little worried about this Wyleth, actually.
Nothing. He's just trying to hang
Can the
out.
dragon be errata to also steal all? Ooh.
He's just hanging out.
Okay.
Krim.
You know what?
I'm not sure.
Krim.
You know what, Table?
I'm really not sure how I feel.
Krim, I haven't attacked yet.
I'm not sure how...
I know. I'm saying, you know what, Table? Seth's stolen my toys. Gavin's helping out over there. Seth steal my toys. So you know what? That's on you.
Help me help
Table.
you.
Do you want to use counterbalance's ability? No. Now let's see what I draw a card.
Do I want to draw pay the 1? No. See?
Well,
this is a mutually beneficial transaction, Krim.
Yeah.
Oh. Now I gotta kill Tomer and Krim? That's
It would have countered it too.
Oh no.
It would have countered it.
Now just don't hull breach for me and everybody can be happy.
I mean, well, I'm not gonna hold breach you. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that new? Is that
I know what Seth had to borrow for you.
What are you talking about?
I'm worried about that identity thief coming back.
So, Gavin, some of the cards from this set, Hull Breacher and Opposition Agent.
Ooh.
When you design sets like that, are those commander cards, or are those, like, kind of intentionally designed to be legacy or vintage cards? Or do they just, like, accidentally end up being good legacy and vintage cards that were actually designed for commander?
Yeah, well, so first of all, I'll say before I talk about these cards at all, Jewel Lotus, Opposition Agent, and Hull Breacher, because I'm sure this will come up at some point or another, is that these were all cards that were added into the set after I handed it off to Jules. So I can speak in like generalities about them and like, from some conversations that I've been a part of, but I didn't actually make the cards and I don't know like everything that went into them. Just because like I know Jules did a lot of the work of talking with folks, vetting them through people, etc. So, I don't have quite as much to say as maybe I would have if I had been the one to make those cards, although I can say some things. I'll say that with our booster releases, we are okay, like occasionally making cards that are shots for like legacy. Like, hey, we'll make this thing and maybe it'll have an impact in legacy. The priority with a set like this though is always the intended format, Commander. So we wouldn't make anything that's just for legacy. We want to make cards that are going to be used in Commander, and I think all these cards are. The fact that they are legacy shots is definitely interesting, and gives that format something to look at. Whether or not Opposition Agent and Hull Breacher are good for that format is a different discussion that I'm sure Play Design will have at some point. But it definitely has given legacy players something to talk about. The legacy has also gone through a lot more upheaval recently than I know that format would like. A lot has shifted and evolved. So it's the kind of thing where maybe if this set had come out at a different point in time, some of the legacy players would be happier with, there's some cool new cards to try out. Merfolk has a chance again. Great. As opposed to like, wow, we've just had our format radically changed every set for the past year and a half. And now it feels like there's even more change coming from this Commander set. So, I think there's some good and some bad that comes from these kind of cards for those formats. And I'll be curious to see how things land 6 months from now. Mm-hmm. I certainly don't think they were created to be like, this is a legacy only card. The Commander was very front of mind on these.
And I think that shines through. Oh, go ahead, Grim.
So You know what? I realized it. Tomer, are we good on this following turn? Are you gonna hit me this upcoming turn?
I will not hit you this turn if you leave my stuff alone.
You can't just let Wyleth go off, Krim.
Nope, I will. I've already got two enemies at the table. I'm gonna let him go off.
I know we said earlier that like there isn't two-headed giant on Magic Online, but I'm starting to feel like we're playing a little bit of two-headed giant here.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
Well, look, there's a Hellkite Tyrant that didn't die, and I don't want to...
That Hellkite Tyrant is gonna have another card, so...
Oh, you're drawing so many cards each turn, though, Tomer. Like, you have a very frightening setup.
It's not bad.
The moment that you choose to not blind flip counterbalance, I feel like you've defected to the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to do this,
you just gave Seth a
awry.
dragon. You just gave Seth a dragon that steals artifacts. My artifacts.
Yeah, I'm just responding to that alliance. I felt like I was kind of left out on that. So I had to seek my allies elsewhere.
You have an interest in artifacts, potentially.
Well, this is actually an aura deck.
Maybe play some cards that...
All auras? Really? No Cauldra, Tomer?
I don't know what that card is.
Okay, all right.
Speaking of Cauldra, though, which is a card I do not really understand nor have any feelings for. Gavin, I know that Commander Legends was focusing or had a lot of callback cards to characters that were very significant in the Magic the Gathering universe and the Magic the Gathering lore. We got to see new versions of beloved characters such as Kamal and Jessica, and we also got to see a lot of really important lore characters that never got to see card versions of them before, like Tevish Svat. I was wondering, considering, would you focus on non-creatures to get new versions of cards, perhaps maybe like really important legendary artifacts that are even like the set symbol of an entire beloved block, the Mirrodin block?
No specific perhaps? One that Tomer's referencing.
Just
clearly.
any beloved icon.
Just spitballing.
Would there be any chance of seeing like a new version of that perhaps in the future?
I mean, I would say that I'm just going to pick a random one, like with Cauldra, for example.
Very weird. We just keep landing on that.
Yeah. I mean, Cauldra is definitely a character that I think has been on our radar some more so now that you've tweeted at me 100 times.
Me?
On Sunday. The thing about Cauldra is if we were to make a legendary Cauldra, it would probably be a colorless, and that might really limit what you wanted to build, right? Mm-hmm. It's also like if we were to do a legendary Cauldra, and it was just like literally all of Cauldra's text together, I'm not sure that would want to be a commander that you would want to build around, right? Yeah. So it's one of those things that might be more fun to say than is in actuality. But someday I could see it happening, and there's a lot of cards that didn't make the cut. As far as non-creature commanders, though, two things that I handed off the jewels that did not make it, I think probably wisely, although I don't know, I'll try and get it made someday, were a vehicle commander and an equipment commander. I thought that those were really fun. I made a predator, like the famous flagship predator from the story that was a vehicle that could be your commander. And I thought that was really cool. And then I made there's this equipment that could be your commander as well. That was pretty neat. And none of them made it through to final, but maybe someday we'll try that again and make it happen. This set was doing a lot of firsts. Maybe next time we'll try and get some of those through.
Literally just all at me. All right.
I feel like that might be the correct thing. So the thing is, like, I know you have a Wrath hanging out in your command zone. Like, that's...
But I don't want to blow up my Rhystic Study or Counterbalance.
You're not even activating it, so...
Yeah, I feel like at this point...
Well, why would I activate on a 9, right? Like on a 9 draw? I know I'm not going to counter that.
Alright, well,
You've already stolen my artifacts. I shouldn't have sent my deck list to Seth.
Alright.
Oh, boy.
A little bit for Tomer, too. Just a little.
You could have sent the non-flyers at me. I would have been much more okay with this.
You're a 49. I think you're okay either way.
That's fair. All right. Well, I'm glad that a certain legendary equipment's on the radar. Much appreciated.
Yeah. I think your tweets have done a lot of work.
And it's just once again a random legendary
totally
equipment.
random.
Just like speaking in a way where like how did that just come up right there? Specifically Cauldra again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my Obeka's not untapped. But,
Yeah.
Would you have
That's all
let
right.
Seth keep all of that?
Each opponent, each planeswalker they control. Oh, wow.
It's only 2. Only 2 lands in the graveyard, so no big deal.
You're not going to even cast Hans?
Not yet.
that doesn't need to.
Doesn't. That's true.
Our hidden commanders are in play. Your Perforos and my
I'm trying to play around
counterbalance.
this Nevinyrral is my big concern. I feel like if I
let's
just dump
try-
everything, I'll get wrecked.
Let's try this.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good Obeka card draw spell.
See what happens here.
Whoa.
All right.
Gavin's gonna
Lands!
resolve a
That's
spell.
something at least. It feels nice to resolve a spell.
Okay.
I will let you draw it though, so we'll see if this bites me later. But
That's a pretty good thing to have. Ideas Unbound, like I love that, by the way. After Obeka was like revealed, I had to dig through all my stuff through, through Scryfall, all that stuff. Just look at all the cards that I just never thought was playable. And it's just so cool to have these cards now viable thanks to Obeka. Oh, that's so cool. I mean, Ideas Unbound isn't unheard of, but there are so many other cards, right? Also that are just wow, I would never have figured I'd play that. So that's such a sweet
for
card.
sure.
It enables a lot of I've noticed. I've played Cedrus' Trader King before, which is an unearthed deck where once you unearth a creature, I think it's exiled at end step.
Yeah.
And Sundial of Infinite was the key card to making that work really well. But having Sundial that type of effect in the command zone, it opens up so many other type of cards that Cedrus or I don't know, Perforos, for example, would never, have a chance to actually play because it wouldn't make sense for them outside of having Sundial on the battlefield. But when it's your commander, it makes all these cards so much better.
Right.
The shenanigans.
Remember, Gavin, I've also helped you this game. Look at this Urborg.
That's mostly just made me tap my things more times.
Ooh, that's a
Okay,
good
so
one.
we have that.
Spice.
That's a concern.
It's probably fine.
I say you should let it resolve.
That I don't know if we can have 2 sneak attacks on board.
No, I don't think of it as.
It worked!
Oh no,
Gavin, I thank you
Come
for
on
your
with this.
sacrifice. I mean,
Gavin's
Dude,
getting
these
wrecked.
blind flips are gas today. I should go buy a lotto ticket.
I know that's concerning a little bit.
I was just. I'm going to pay the 1.
Reasonable.
Tomer, just kill
I guess I
Krim.
could have just.
What?
That makes me so unhappy.
Just kill
No
Krim.
idea how unhappy that makes
I'm
me.
not
Get
killing Krim.
rid of the counterbalance.
I'm not killing Krim.
Oh, come on.
Is this the week of top 10 unlikely anime pair-ups?
Oh.
I mean, you have a great henge. Are we just forgetting the part where
I know,
Seth
I'm a
has a
little
great
bit afraid
henge?
of the Great Henge.
Really? Your commander draws currently 3 when you attack, and you draw when you cast an aura. Krim has
I
Ristic
know.
Study.
But I feel like also the moment that I attack Krim is the moment he drops Hellbreacher. That's how it works, right?
He can do that when you attack anyone,
I'm not
though, right?
going to drop Hullbreacher, Tomer. Not on you. You've been a friend.
We've been allies, and I appreciate our work together.
Yeah.
thus
Think
far.
of the good times we've had so far.
All right, so
You can sculpt your perfect hand and then kill me, out later. Remember, I offered this deal to Gavin at Command Fest, but I will offer once again, I am a very good deputy. I will be second place.
look, I'm just going to deal with the Great Henge, if you allow me.
Oh my goodness, really? Oh.
I'll pay the 1. I'll pay the 1. I am.
Don't pay the one. Just don't pay the one.
I mean, I don't want to counter it, so
You're not going to pay the one?
I will pay the 1. Why?
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to counter anyways. I want that. So no, I don't want to use counterbalance. Plus, also it's a 1-drop. So.
Oh dear.
This is fantastic.
This is not going well.
I think it's going pretty well.
I think
can't
this is
complain.
just a delightful.
Yeah.
I mean, you're drawing 5 cards a turn, so
No, I'm not. I've only drawn 1.
no. Tomer is
5 cards.
Hull Breacher.
6. Oh, six
Oh my
cards. I mean,
goodness. That's pretty good when you're drawing all those cards.
Tomer, are you going to pay the 1 on this one?
I mean, I have 1 more mana, so
Just let me draw. Just let me draw. Come on. Come on.
I like that. I like having that.
Tomer.
Oh wait, you can comeuppance me. I forgot about that.
I mean,
Wait,
I
no, you
could.
can't. It's on top of your library still.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. But I'm not because
Well, he already drew a card, right? Didn't you already not pay for a risk? Oh, you did pay
I
for the
paid.
first Ristic Study. Okay.
Well, I'm not hating
Yeah.
you, Krim. So there's that.
is that my birthday present?
Yes.
I guess.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday.
All right.
don't Hull
Thank you.
Breacher
Happy
me.
birthday. A very good album, but also yes.
Krim, would you like me to stop attacking you?
I mean, it would be ideal.
Kill the Wyleth. I know you got the Deadly Rollick in hand. It's been there for several turns.
No,
Just kill
I'm gonna
it.
let that hit you.
I have to get rid of the Great Henge.
like.
Yeah, my Great Henge is a problem, not this Wyleth.
Oh, wait,
that's
does this
drawing
kill you?
way more cards. Yeah, I'm dead.
Oh, I didn't do the math. Well, maybe I don't kill the Great Henge then.
I mean, you killed it in a roundabout way, I guess.
Player removal is also very efficient removal.
This is quite effective.
Yeah, especially when you got a counterbalance sidekick to let your spells through and counter all your opponent's stuff.
Should have paid attention to your enemies.
Well, I guess I'm voting for Gavin. It's definitely not Tomer
Oh, I can blow
Krim.
Hey, I didn't do anything.
Come on with this. Now you're gonna blow up my. This is
Let's talk about this, Gavin. How about I don't blow that up and you don't blow up the Wyleth?
Well, I currently have nothing in my hand that can destroy a Wyleth, so I mean that's an easy deal for me to take.
Okay.
That's an interesting turn.
That wasn't bad. I've had worse turns than this.
Okay. I got my stuff back, so that feels good. Wait,
What a bunch of nonsense all that was.
wait, how come I didn't get
It was a
my
bit nonsense, yeah.
my chromatic lantern back?
Oh,
wait, did Seth blow that up? Did you blow up my chromatic lantern?
No, I didn't.
I
I
got
don't
my
know why it's in
arcane.
your exile zone. It's exiled for some reason. I'm not. I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
The
unfortunate.
universe decided to reward Krim for his hard
Yeah.
and work with counterbalance this game. It's like you've been doing great work with that thing. Just have another land.
Thank you.
I'm definitely rooting for Gavin at this point.
Well, y'all knew what I drew.
I probably shouldn't discard. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, Krim has comeuppance now.
I should probably go read what comeuppance does.
Aha!
It's
Dark Steel Ingot.
Can someone remind me? Comeuppance is like 4 mana,
Mhm.
and you
Prevent all damage to be dealt to me and planeswalkers I control this turn by sources I don't control. And if damage from a creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to that creature. And if damage from a non-creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that damage to its source's controller.
So a pretty
Wow, it's
solid
almost like you read it from
fog.
your hand.
Yeah, kind of like the White Shoal or something, sort of ish.
Yeah. He's tapping out.
Oh, this has to be a big spell. Oh, yeah, that gets me.
Reminisce.
Oh boy.
That's what I drew turn 1.
Oh yeah, I see the hilarity there.
It's like, oh, come on. I wanted to put that back on top with Amanatu, but I figured I should probably just keep this because I don't want to fetch and then lose this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, yeah, no response to that one. You did good, Wyleth. You did good.
See, Tomer, you got to draw a lot of cards.
I appreciate that.
We're friends.
And nobody got hurt.
Yeah, nobody got hurt along the way. Gavin, you, me.
Debatable.
Wait, hold on. There's one more.
Feels like we're missing someone.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't worry about it.
You had the Terminus and the Deathly Relic in hand the whole time. And you just refused to cast it. Oh, grim.
Seth, you shouldn't have broken the pact, and you shouldn't have hit me and stolen all my stuff.
Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to play Hans again because I didn't even get to cast it. I died so quickly.
I kind of forgot that part. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of also forgot the part where you took commander damage. Because it's so rare that any of us die from commander damage, except from like when Richard played like Ruhan or something like that.
Well, I guess I'm just going to do this. And if it gets blind countered, so help me.
One time for yours truly.
You know, those happen. You never know.
You can't ask for one time the fourth time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just not how any of this works.
Fourth time? Fourth time off the top, please. Would you like to pay the one?
I don't know anymore.
It could lead to me not drawing the 4-drop.
Was Seth the hero all along?
No, Tomer, you are.
I did not realize that was going to kill Seth. I'm not good at math.
Come on!
Wow.
Gee, that is so unlucky.
This is unbelievable.
I've never seen counterbalance.
Truly
I'm
unbelievable.
going to... Oh, man. Definitely buy that lotto ticket.
And that was the last time Gavin ever guested on Commander Clash.
And thanks for having us, Gavin.
Okay, Gavin, I am getting like ridiculously lucky. Tomer and Seth can vouch for me. I usually just play counterbalance, draw aggro, and then go riding off into the night.
That's true.
It's fine. I mean, I'm sure the audience is really enjoying it.
Actually, I often get yelled at for this.
I will say, I mean, the thing that the audience knows is so many cool things could have happened to this game if that thing wasn't in play, but instead I'll just continue to get all my spells countered.
Look, Gavin, I don't even know how it's getting countered that often. Like I was lucky to even counter like 2 spells, right? I would call that like a good year. And then here I go countering like 50 different things blindly.
I don't know if I just...
Yeah, you hit Identity Thief, Sneak Attack, and my commander.
I guess 4 isn't the sweet spot.
This Deadly Rollick's actually going to be a problem.
Quite deadly?
Oh, Crim's not going to cast it on your stuff. He's waiting for Obeka to resolve through the counterbalance.
Obeka, resolve. Hold. We'll see what RNG says about that.
I mean, I'll cast this.
Would you like to pay the 1?
I don't want to because I have a bunch of cheap spells that I would like to cast, but I guess I do.
Did you find both your Strom and the Spirit Dancer? That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I did draw a lot of cards, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't want to use Counterbalance's ability. Maybe Tomer forgot what was on top.
Oh, yeah.
Odds are low, but, you know.
It could happen.
Play to my outs.
Oh, cast this.
So, Gavin, you're playing Obeka today, but what else is on your favorite commander list, or what is your favorite new legend from the set? Do you have one?
There are a ton. Actually, you can check all my interviews because this is true. My favorite legend in the set is Hans Eriksson. So I am a huge fan of that card. I think the design is like it's a triple win, right? Like it makes good on a character we told players about all the way back in Ice Age. It's perfect flavor. It's got amazing art. Like Hans is my favorite. I think my favorite in the set. Obeka is really high up there. Really high up there as well. I like almost all the 3-color commanders a lot, just because they a lot of them do really wacky things. So like Averna, I want to build my Cascade Averna deck. That sounds super fun. And to try out appropriately. Nevinyrral is pretty high on my list as one to do. So like a lot of the 3-color commanders really strike my fancy.
Yeah, I like a lot of those too. Like Gen's really cool, Blim's really cool.
Oh my
like
gosh.
essentially
Yeah, Gen.
all
Blim
the
is
3-color commanders
amazing.
are really sweet. So
I just love the number of different build around things that we were able to do here, and also it's really nice to know the number of build around things that we tried here and didn't make it, because I'm sure that they'll make it in a future set. There's still things that we haven't built around, that we haven't made the cards for you to build around. So a lot of cool stuff in the future. I also think that, when you want to talk about build arounds, the inclusion of the 2 tribes is pretty interesting here, like elves and pirates gives those decks some pretty neat stuff for commander as well, especially pirates.
Yeah,
that one came out of nowhere for so many people. And there's a lot of fun to be had there.
I love the pirates.
They're one of those tribes that it's a really cool tribe, but because they're newer, well, I guess they're not actually that new, but getting a lot of support is relatively new. There's just not that many good tribe members, so I was pretty happy to see them get some more pretty sweet tribe members from the set. What about partners? Like, that's what I was most scared of from this set. When I heard partners are coming back, I immediately cringed because I feel like the original 2-color partners are I just really don't like their impact on Commander personally, and I think they're overpowered. So I was very fearful when I heard, oh my god, we're getting a ton of new partners. But these partners are actually pretty cool, and they're not overpowered. Were they very challenging to design? Because I assume that you also, in designing the set, probably had to keep in mind power level concerns. So was that one of the challenges of the set, or was it pretty easy to do the partners?
Yeah, we knew early on partners were definitely going to be a challenge, and I think even knowing that, we underestimated just how much of a challenge they were going to be. I mean, poor Jules, I handed the set off to him and just saddled him with a million partners he had to work on. It was a really big challenge, but I think a lot of people dislike partners. But what they really don't like is the original partners. There are things about the partner mechanic that people can hate, and that's legitimate. But I think what a lot of people don't like when they like partners, wow, the old partners were way too strong, because they did 2 really big things. The first is a lot of them were just too strong, like Thrasios and Timna and all those are just way above the line. Second of all, the original partners adding 2 colors to your deck is just so powerful. It's not only get this amazing magic card, but also you get to play blue and green in your deck. Well, wow, that seems really powerful. Why would I not play Thrasios? And so one of our design mottos was actually don't make more Thrasioses. That was literally a thing that we told ourselves not to do. So very, very, very much that was something on our radar here.
I think you did a good job with it. You did Thrasios in this set, so. But go ahead, Grim.
Well, I was gonna say, I really liked also, how usually I could play decks and, I wouldn't care about my commander too much, but almost every deck I've played so far, I've actually built around my commander, and I kind of actually relied on it so far. Yeah,
I think it does a good job, really making you want to use your commander, and build it in really new, interesting ways. There's whole new deck archetypes you can build here, which I think is so much fun.
Yeah, that's always the nicest thing to see about commanders that kind of support archetypes that never really had support and give cards that are quirky but very niche and don't really have a home. Oh my goodness, this is going to happen again.
I feel bad. I don't want to counter Gavin again, but I guess it's all RNG.
It's not my fault.
It's oh, did Planar Chaos counter me? Oh, darn.
All right, I'm going to spend 1 for Ristic Steady.
Oh, if this happens again.
I'm just not going to be able to handle it.
Should I do it? I don't know.
Oh, you gotta do it at this point. You can't not do it. Right. But
yeah.
Look, there it is. There it is.
Thank goodness.
There it is.
Thank goodness. There is some justice.
Also,
not much.
Also, while we're at it, I'm gonna go ahead and fetch this.
Oh, deadly relic time.
Yeah, you finally resolved it. Time to kill it. No,
it's gonna be very difficult to kill Krim from this point. Because Deadly Relic just shuts down my Wyleth if I ever cast him again.
Because eventually, Krim, he's already got a pretty good setup. And eventually, he's going to have a bunch of Planeswalkers and just keep neving again and again, I assume.
He's got a great setup.
That's where this is going. Yeah.
I'm not in a position to punish it at all.
I feel like that's sarcasm.
Yeah. I can't. No. I'm being honest. But, I'm going to be swinging the Strom and maybe he gets comeuppance or something. I don't know.
If only Hans was around.
Yeah, where's Hans when you need him? You know,
The aggro player taking out too
All right,
soon.
Gavin, do you remember Command Fest how I was a friend? And I gave you a
remember
magic
that.
card?
All right, I remember this. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Am I supposed to remember this again? Now?
Oh.
I'm gonna
Oh, you're giving me another
I'm
thing.
gonna give you a Saram. Here you go.
Oh.
That's very, very generous.
Does that make up
I'll
for
admit,
the
I mean,
5
I did-
counters with counter ballots?
Well, that means I just can't.
I love this, like the Crim giveth and the Crim
Yeah,
taketh away.
yeah.
It's like, well, I blind flipped 3 of your spells, but have a SRAM.
Yeah, on me, on the house.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna make it difficult.
So
I could
generous.
have gotten rid of like the risk study or counterbalance if I had an attacker.
I assume Tomer has protection spells, so if I'm gonna wrong turn, this is the turn to do it.
My protection
Yeah, for
spells
sure.
are auras, so you have time.
Well,
to
I mean,
respond.
like you may have like God's willing. I don't know.
True, I
something
have
along those
tricks.
lines.
I do have tricks.
Yeah,
up my
but
sleeve.
oh, you tell me you have no tricks, Tomer. Come on, come on, Tomer. I don't have counterbalance.
Where's the? I don't know how this.
If you could kill that counterbalance, I think we'd all just be forever grateful. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I
Little
can't
option
at
here.
this point. Does any of these things give me protection? It does not. Boo. I think the best play is to just cast Wyleth and eat the exile.
I mean, assuming that it doesn't just get exiled. I mean, like the exile spell doesn't get blanked by one of your tricks, right, Tomer?
It's true. I could have
Or the counterbalance
I could still
And-
have
and-
tricks.
Obeka. Maybe Gavin will do something to.
Well, Gavin, you
In
could just
favor.
attack with Obeka.
Would you like to end your turn?
That would be grand. All right, this is the blind flip. I will pay for it.
All right, once again, we're gonna do the blind flip. Let's see it,
Oh my gosh.
please, please. What
And
is
if
it, five
you
ti-
attack with
just-
Obeka,
just
I think maybe
5
we could
times.
just pressure
fifth time.
him to block.
No, it's Reliquary Tower.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be useful. You're drawing a bunch of cards.
You've all been paying the one. It's not cool. Not chill.
I didn't pay all the ones. I think I gave you a good
That's true.
5 cards so far.
Everybody has actually helped me. Oh, I think, you know what's funny? I think Seth is the one that paid the most. Seth, oh, by the way, Gavin,
maybe.
Seth never pays. No
You
matter
know
what
that.
tax effect it is, even if he's got like 5 mana left open, like he doesn't pay.
That's
So,
why. That's why I
oh,
was
man.
going for house banning it, only because Seth isn't at the table, and he just like gives the Ristic
Just
Study.
3 mana,
Like,
draw
yeah,
6 or
yeah.
whatever.
And I'll do it like back to back.
It's the point of the thing, really. Like
on principle.
Yeah, I mean, you just once you start paying, then people have the expectation you're gonna pay, and it just starts this whole like snowball of stuff.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. You
I
just
get it.
let people know ahead of time I'm not doing it, and then they learn to deal with it or try to ban the card, one or the other.
I like that thought.
I gotta say, I'm really not about this pass with 12 mana untapped or whatever.
Well,
That's,
I'm not gonna play Wanderers because I know that you're all just gonna attack it, right? Like that's the issue. Planeswalkers aren't exactly great when people just keep hitting them. So.
Oh my gosh. What are we gonna do about this? Well, I guess we'll try this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, let's do this. All right, here's something. See what happens.
Whew.
That's a big boy.
That
That's
is.
a good one with Obeka.
Just gonna get countered. I won't worry about it.
We'll see. Do you pay the one?
Do I pay the 1? Tis the question.
It's always a trick here.
I think the answer is no. You can just have it. And if you blind counter me,
Gavin's just like, whatever.
Oh,
all right.
that was close.
Command the Dread
That was
Horde.
close.
Ooh.
Oh well, it's good to know about the Command the Dread Horde.
Yeah.
Well,
It's going to be difficult with the low life total, but
Yes. Yes, it will be.
all right. I am going to try to do this.
Oh boy. Yeah, that seems good.
Okay. I know that's your top card. So I will go to my combat step.
Uh-oh. I'm so scared. What is it? Tell me, Gavin, what is it?
I'm excited
You got
for this.
7 cards, Gavin. You got
I'm
7
excited
cards.
for this.
It's honestly, it's not even very
okay. That sounds like the
really,
biggest.
really
Gavin's definitely smirking as he's.
No, I seriously, there are rules would have been way better.
Not bad.
I'm gonna get this Primordial, getting back, I think, a Danitha Capuchin, which is
That's all you're getting.
not my brightest moment. Right, because I was gonna get back Cavalier of Flame, which I was really. What's this Transcendent Envoy do? Aura spells cost 1 less to cast.
Yeah.
Huh? I think we're taking Danitha Capuchin.
You don't have
Gavin's the aura deck now.
I mean, Transcendent Envoy plus SRAM, and then you have a bunch of auras in your hand. You can go off.
Yeah, I'm a little short on the auras. weirdly enough.
For now.
Well, that's some big beats.
All right.
Yes, not quite. Like I said, not quite the all-star move here.
Yeah, but it is solid pressure.
But what about the rest of the cards in your hand, Gavin? What are they?
Well, it's the best creature I had. So.
It's the best creature, yes, but what else do you have? Somebody's got a wrong turn. I have a strong feeling I'm going to get wrong turn. Oh, wait, no, hold on. That wouldn't matter. Oh, no, wait, that would matter, actually.
I think the person who had the wrong turn was you.
Or not, I guess that's true. Not, what is it? Glorious End? That's like a counter spell, right?
Ooh, Glorious End, yeah. All right, let's do this.
Oh, here's some spice. I was wondering when one of those would show up.
All right.
Okay, so I know your top card is Command the Dread Horde. Let's see.
Do you want to risk it?
Yeah, how am I feeling?
I think paying the 1 is solid here.
I think I'm going to die this turn.
I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna pay the 1. I can't bring myself to not do it.
Seth sacrificed himself so we could all pay the 1. I think that's how it went down.
Yeah.
That is the story.
So Gavin, I know it's early, but
Yeah.
do you think there's a chance there'll be more Commander Legends in the future? Like, I know we're getting Modern Horizons 2 next year. Like, could there be a Commander Legends 2 at some point?
I really want to do a Commander Legends 2, like super badly.
It'll take 5 years.
I think it'll take less time if we want to do a second one. It really, a lot of people are waiting to see how this set did. The good news is, like, the early reaction is really positive. So it's looking good. You know, if I were to put my money on something right now, it's looking pretty good. But really, it's you know, I can't say anything with assuredness at this point. And if we are going to use a set like this, there's also a question of, like, well, should we do another Commander Legends? Should we do something different? Should we do a Commander Masters, right? Like, what are the other things we should do in this space? So I know there's, like, a lot of reprint cards, for example, that Commander players would love to have. So
even though the year of Commander is kind of drawing to a close, we should expect more Commander products in the future of some kind or another.
I certainly would like to. I mean, although this was like the year of Commander, you're still going to see plenty of Commander stuff next year. We haven't announced it all yet, but there's still a lot of very cool Commander things that are happening. So, yeah, I guess that's what I'll say about that. I'm pretty stoked about it.
That definitely sounds exciting.
I want to make sure. Yeah, I wouldn't expect Commander Legends 2 next year, though.
Yeah, that sounds pretty quick.
I got to make sure to stack my triggers right here. What's the right way for me to do this? I think the right way for me to do this is like this. Okay, I'm going to sacrifice this Prismatic Vista.
Yup.
Hooray. I'll get this. Boop. And then I want to do this, right? Any reason why I wouldn't? You've got 7 cards in your hand, Tomer? Holy smokes, what is even going to happen?
If I die, there's a chance Tomer could punch you and just kill you.
It's
Right on.
It's
I've been a friend, Gavin. I've been a friend. Remember,
Absolutely.
RNG decided otherwise. All right.
yeah.
What is the? Is it it's control to hold control when you activate an ability? Is
If
that
you
right?
want to respond to your own.
Yeah, that'll maintain priority. Yeah, if you hold control.
Perfect. So I want to do this, and I want to do this.
Woohoo.
Okay, so
This is all your first turn, then you have an extra one after one, right?
Correct. I've got another turn coming after this one.
So I know you mentioned you didn't play any infinites in the deck. Is there a way to take infinite turns with Obeka and Last Chance?
Well, you can easily do it with Isochron Scepter.
Yup.
Right? If you have Scepter, Obeka, and Last Chance. There's this very old combo deck called Final Fantasy that did that I always loved, where you get Platinum Angel and Isochron Scepter, Final Fortune. One of my favorite Pro Tours of all time was Pro Tour New Orleans right after Mirrodin came out. And it was totally like the Wild West because Tinker was still legal and Mirrodin was out and it was illegal. It was extended. You could play it all together. And so people brought all kinds of wacky stuff to the table. I'll never forget two of my favorite decks that I'm sure you would appreciate, Saffron, if you don't know them, are, of course, number one, the Final Fantasy deck with Platinum Angel, Final Fortune, Isochron Scepter. But number two is Twiddle Storm, where the Japanese, a bunch of Japanese players brought Gilded Lotus plus Twiddles. And so you would tinker for Gilded Lotus, and then you played like Burst of Energy, which is a single white mana to untap a permanent, and you played literal Twiddles and Dream's Grip and stuff to just make a ton of mana off Gilded Lotus. And I thought that was pretty amazing.
That's super cool. And we kind of saw a little bit of like a brief resurgence of Twiddle Storm thanks to Lotus Field in both Modern and Pioneer for a minute recently. Like kind of the same kind of idea for the most part, like using the Twiddles to untap and make mana. So yeah, that is a really sweet deck.
For sure. So interesting to note, on Magic Online in particular, in real life, I would also have Warrior's Oath in this deck from Portal 3 Kingdoms, but that is not available on Magic Online. So I'm limited at the two Final Fortune effects here.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Like, cause I die next turn, right? Like, I mean, 100% die, and then Tomer's gonna untap and then for sure kill me.
I mean, Gavin's taking another turn after next one, so he has two extra turns coming up. Right. I think we're both dead. I think we're both dead.
His counterbalance flip is.
I'll join
and
these
if I try to do anything, Gavin will end the turn.
That's true. He could have done it.
Well,
he could do it in response to an extra turn spell being cast, and then he has to choose between ending the turn and responding to the end step thing. That works.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing everything now.
Yeah.
All right, so you are gonna Rollick my Ilharg. Delicious. Wow. Well, how about that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have that vampire up.
Tomer kills me.
I can't kill you. Oh, you're tapped out. I could possibly kill you.
Yeah,
but I'm not as afraid of you right now.
Into my library, third from the top. Is that a thing I want? Let's say yes. Seems like a thing I would want. Or actually, maybe I don't. Oh no, that's for lame-o. That's for no. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, Ilharg is gonna stay in my graveyard. Let's do this. What does it mean? We'll find out. Okay.
Why did he not?
I will do all this. Boop.
Into third from the top.
Who wants an Ilharg? Certainly not me.
He tried. He did his best.
I want an Ilharg.
Okay.
To block.
Okay, but now there is this question around what's going to happen to that counterbalance. So I feel like the first thing I want to do is try and figure out how many more turns I'm going to be able to take in a row. So I'm going to cast this.
Oh gosh, we're certainly dead.
It seems possible.
And I don't know what your top card is currently.
Nope.
Right?
I can't believe I'm rooting for counterbalance at this point.
Right. You drew a bunch of cards. I guess I'm just going to let you have it. Draw the card,
unsung hero.
and we'll see what's on top with counterbalance.
Oh, I hope I get to live. I have so many Commander Legends cards finally. Oh, it's top.
No.
See, you should have politics with that. You should have been, hey, Gavin, we could showcase all these sweet Commander
don't kill
Legends.
me,
You
Gavin.
don't kill
I have
me.
all my Commander Legends cards in my hand.
The irony here is not lost on me. All right.
Don't do it, Gavin. Don't do it.
I could show you my Keeper of the Cord. Oh! Before I have to ask before Commander Clash is done. But Gavin,
of course,
I know during Command Fest when it was, during I think was some Channel Fireball event. We talked about, it was Command Fest. Sorry, it was Command Fest. You did a panel at the beginning, talking about Commander Legends for the first time, and you specifically talked about mono white in Commander. Obviously, for like the past year or so, I want to say like Eldraine-ish time, there was a major uproar. Like everybody was talking about mono white's role in Commander and how it's a little bit less powerful than the other mono colors. And you specifically highlighted Keeper of the Cord, talking about mono white going to be getting, some new options for ramp. And we also saw in Boros. Boros was a guild color that people like to say is a little bit underpowered compared to the other guilds. We see Wyleth, and Wyleth is just fantastic for Boros in terms of just sheer amount of card draw, which is a deficit in Boros. Is there any talks or ideas planned for mono white getting card draw in the future, that like good solid card draw?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've talked about the various ways we could give white ways to ramp and draw additional cards, so that's what it's missing. So we're going to be trying a lot of stuff out over the next, couple years, and we're not sure what's going to stick and what's actually going to work for folks. Mm-hmm. But I think people will be happy with a lot of. I don't want to make any promises, I guess there, but I'm hoping people will be happy with some of the stuff we come out with. We know that white definitely needs some help, and it's going to be a long road, right? You look at red. It took red a long time to get to where it is now. At one time, red was a joke to play in Commander as well. And slowly over time, we've given it, the red exile effects and some great board sweepers like Blasphemous Act and so on. And it's gotten into a much more healthy spot. So it's going to be, it's not going to be a quick process, but I think we are going to get there with white. And, big shout out to Ari and the design team, who has done a lot of great work on Iteration.
Yeah, he's also been Ari's been on Twitter quite a lot, and I had the opportunity to interact with him, and he's been very open, like talking to the community as well. Talking about like white's role in Commander and like getting feedback from people as well. So big shout out to Ari on that one.
Yeah, Ari's been doing a great job. So I mean, it's not just him, of course. It takes a whole team, but he's been, as the White Council of Colors member, has been a big advocate for white here. So
and
I think we have some cool stuff.
Yeah, and I think like the ramp department's doing pretty well. I think for white, it's just having some more generic options for card draw would be great. Do you think, like, in terms of timeline, you said, like, the road is going to be really long and gradual. Obviously, it's not going to be, like, one set is going to suddenly change everything all of a sudden. But, I will discard you. This one. But I know there was a huge uproar, like, last year around this time, or like September of 2019. Do you think like in another year, because you say like design of cards usually takes around 2 years, do you think we should like wait and see like another year and see if there was anything that came about that, or was that something like internal discussion about mono white was happening for a long time and it's just going to be showing up in every single set going forward? Like,
well, I think you're going to see stuff over the next you're going to see stuff start to show up and trickle out in sets. The thing is I think everyone's like, hey, why don't you just do it in a set, right? Just fix it in a set or whatever. But even if, let's imagine a world where in Commander Legends, we had just made 15 cards that were all targeted toward like upping white's power level. I don't think that's going to be that healthy either, because what if we miss on some of those cards? What if we release a kind of ramp or card draw that players don't like? Then those things are stuck in the format forever. So makes a lot more sense for us to like gradually roll it out over time, trying out a little bit here and there and seeing what new ways of going work well. Because, white needs to find its way to draw cards in a ramp in the same way that red has found its ways to draw cards in a ramp. And different things work for different ways, right? If we had thought that Faithless Looting was, hey, this is the answer for red, we should make a bunch of Faithless Lootings, and then we made like 15 Faithless Lootings in a set, and it turns out that, that actually didn't help out Commander that much, or people don't like it in Commander, or it blew up Vintage or something like that.
Yeah.
Like those would be undesirable effects, I think, there. So there's a lot of very careful stuff we have to do. Also, I just drew a very exciting Magic card. Everyone watching, I think their eyes probably got a little wide when I drew this one, so that's exciting. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. Okay, well, anyway, but yeah, so white is like super on our radar. Well, and Keeper of the Accord and Sky Hunter Patrol and stuff like that are really just like the first steps, I think, toward this. And you'll see more in some of the sets to come. And I'm excited. There is some stuff next year, I think, that you will all see that you will enjoy. And I don't think it's going to be everything, but it's going to be a fine start to the process. So
awesome. Good to hear.
All right. So here's speaking of this game, though.
Gavin, you're not going to kill me, though, right?
Well, I'm definitely gonna kill you.
You're not gonna kill me though, right, Gavin?
I mean, I can't kill Tomer first because I got to keep Danitha and SRAM around.
Wait, but I gave you SRAM.
Well,
how about this? You just hit me with SRAM, and that's it.
I don't think
you're
so.
also playing Nev.
I think we need. I guess I want to attack. You're not gonna block anyway, but we're gonna go like this. And we're gonna go like this. Sorry, but I see my route here, and I got to take what I can find.
Fine, I'll just discard my Commander Legends cards.
Yeah, show us all the cool cards you had in your hand.
Well, I drew a lot of lands. I'm gonna be honest with you. I drew like 3 lands, but I did draw I drew a Tevish, and I was really excited because I had Sorin and Tevish.
Oh man,
I was really excited to play with that. I didn't get to draw. I also have Triumphant Reckoning, just another sweet card to like play in my Super Friends deck. So it was actually like a lot of cards came out from this set that really boosted my Super Friends archetype.
Tevish is totally sweet. I'm really happy you're playing with that.
Yeah.
Getting the partner commanders right, especially the planeswalkers, is really tricky to do. So
yeah, like
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I thought it was going to be that powerful, but then after playing it in my Super Friends deck and with the amount of tokens I can generate through Sorin, Castle Ardenvale, all this other stuff, like Tevish's like second ability just like drew me so many cards.
Yeah, I'm planning on playing Tevish just in the 99 of some decks that care about sacrificing and want to draw cards. There's not too many planeswalkers that I just play for value in Commander decks, but I think Tevish might be one of them. It feels like very good for the format.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that both of his abilities tick up, like it makes blockers, it draws you cards right away. Mm-hmm. A lot of fun stuff to do there. And if you're playing it with partner, there's some great combos as well. I think my favorite is the Kobolds of Karakeep, the Rogar or whatever, plus him. You like play Tevish, you play your Kobolds, you sack it immediately and draw 3 cards. It's a great relationship. So everyone watching can tell you, and you can check the tapes on this one, this was my draw for the turn, so it's not bad.
Wait, so you have 2 more extra turns after this?
I have 1 more extra turn after this one. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd say that's not a bad draw.
Gavin might be able to win.
I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Fairly certain I'm dead.
I don't think I'm going to be able to kill you before you take a turn.
You might be.
I'm definitely going to be able to do some cool stuff.
You might be empty-handed. You don't have to pay the 1 anymore, though, so that's nice.
Yeah, and I don't have to worry about counterbalance messing me up anymore, which is also nice.
I can't imagine what kind of game it would have been if counterbalance didn't hit some of your stuff.
All right, and now I'm going to also play this, which is let me do some fun stuff.
Oh, boy.
And now I'm going to go to my end step, and I think I would like to end the turn.
Oh, misclick.
I got a strong feeling about that.
Ah, no.
I would like to use this ability.
So close. Yes. That was my only out.
Yeah, I think it actually is. You need the misclick and accidentally die to one of these triggers.
I wonder how often that has happened in a
now,
Commander Legends draft with Obeka.
I'm going to do this. Hello, Feldon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I would like to make a copy of Identity Thief.
That was my out. Kinda, maybe not really.
Attack. Not attack with Obeka. That's the one I want to be really sure to not attack with. And attack with all these. Then going to gobble up your Wyleth.
I love this.
Yeah,
I love every second of this.
Pretty decent. That's all right.
Yes.
Wonder how many cards Kroxa can nug out of your hand here.
You'll get this one, I think. Discard.
Squeeze Embrace. Wow.
Oh, I love that one. I also love the art on it. His embrace.
Yeah.
Just hugging the knees.
It's more like it looks like groveling more than it is.
Yeah.
It's protection though.
Squeeze Embrace is a great throwback. That's awesome.
Oh boy.
All right. It all hits.
Yeah, it hits.
All right. This is the end of my extra turns. So
I thought you had one more.
that's all the damage I can do.
Didn't you have
No, I'm pretty sure I've used them all.
Oh.
Right, because I always go one turn forward, and this is my extra turn here. So I'm gonna play my land. I'm still gonna end my turn here and keep all this stuff around, so that's exciting.
Oh, that guy has
keep
some
my
really
Felden
sweet
token
synergies.
around,
Yeah,
which is pretty exciting.
the synergies are so cool with that deck.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah,
It's so much fun.
there's a lot of fun stuff to do.
It's just so much fun.
Okay, that is a card. If I had Wyleth, there might have been a shot. It depends on what you can do with all that mana. Which, I mean, there's a chance that it wouldn't have worked out. But I think, yeah, it's not going to work out too well now. We'll try, though. I will cast Hero of Iroas.
very powerful.
This is what I
The
had in
hero
my
we
hand
needed.
for a while.
Gavin's board is very different from Tomer's.
So yeah, a little bit of a disparity. I'm gonna try and even it up.
Ooh.
Whoa, what is going on?
There we
You're
go.
gonna give me back my sneak attack. I'm gonna get back my sneak attack. That's the good news. And the bad news is you're gonna get back a million things.
Unfortunately,
Like,
no
actually
haste.
a million of them.
If I had haste, this could have been pretty insane for me.
I think we should do this.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, that'll get me.
Didn't even
Well,
have to
I
pay the
tried.
mana for it. 6 mana open, didn't pay for it. I love it.
Gosh,
Yeah, I mean, look, you gotta find your value.
Yeah. No, I get it. I
it's
get
about
it.
sending a message.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
All right. I mean, there's still room for Tomer to come back.
There's
here.
always a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance that Identity Thief will steal that hero of my rose?
I could get a
It's weird.
sick
Do I make,
top
like-
deck.
This is weird, but I think I'm going to do it, even though 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 20, 22. Yeah, I can't quite kill you, so I think we're going to do this, weirdly.
Hello, Identity Thief.
So what's better than one Identity Thief is 2 Identity Thieves.
This is so disgusting. I love it.
There's always a
absolutely
chance.
love it.
Now, the second one is not going to do anything.
Right. But had there been,
But-
imagine if Seth had carried out his game plan and ended
another
me.
blocker. So the counterbalance was the hero the entire game.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Holding
Once
back
again,
the
I don't know
Obeka.
about that.
Still, you know what? I'll just think of that one monologue or whatever at the end of Dark Knight.
To die the
Yeah.
hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Pretty,
Yeah.
what is it again? It's just
Vindication.
we'll chase him and whatever because he can take it. He's not the hero we deserve, but it's the hero we need or something like that. I can't remember the full thing, but that is what I'll ride off into the night with.
I do feel very fortunate to have got in this position, given that I had a bunch of blind counter flips. But definitely drawing the Snapcaster Mage and the Time Walk and having the Mystical Tutor in hand is not too weak.
Yeah, I think you got it.
I think it's pretty likely I have it. Actually, I would be extremely surprised given the last card in my hand if you win this game, but it's not impossible.
Reveal it. Tell us what it is.
I'm guessing it's another counter. Okay, all right. I'll reveal. I'll reveal. Can you deal with this?
Not like strictly speaking another counter.
Boom.
Well, I think I can. I will. This is just because it feels appropriate to cast this card.
I will offer up the trade.
How do you get out of this one, Gavin?
I don't know. I'm just gonna cast this because I feel like I should show it.
Nice.
It's very thematic.
I will allow this.
That is awesome.
All right, Gavin, you got it.
That is so awesome.
All right, GG.
Oh, that is so awesome. I love Obeka.
Obeka got shut down for the majority of the game, but we actually were fortunate enough to see her go off, and that's kind of really cool. Like, there was a lot of, even without using it on your own turn, you were able to drum up politics with it on opposing turns, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. Like, and on top of that, just because the Greaves were there, it might have been my fault for not casting Nevinyrral because I wanted to keep my enchantments around. However, that Greaves and Obeka was kind of brutal. Kind of brutal, right? I mean, I had removal, but I couldn't deal with her. Mm-hmm. So, I probably should have just blown up the board.
Yeah, you never actually nev that game. Like, I mean, I died pretty quickly, so I don't think it really made a difference, but that was, like, on my radar the entire game, and I was worried, like, there was a turn where I could have played Hans, but I couldn't have left up regeneration, so I was actually, like, really concerned about you just playing your commander and wrathing the board, so it definitely impacted the game even without you casting it, at least for me. Like, that was something I was, like, trying to play around all game.
It was nice to know that at any point, if I wanted to, I could just pay 6 mana to have a nice sweeper. Although I was trying to set it up to where I could draw like Wrath of God and then play Nev, right?
Yeah, Nev was going to be a problem for me as well. I had ways to protect Wyleth from destroy effects, but not my enchantments. So all my enchantments would have gone away, and then it would have been still very effective. And also all the exile effects were very effective against Wyleth too. But I want to hear from Seth because... Poor Seth. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. Yeah. I really didn't realize that I had lethal on you. I just wanted to take out your Great Henge, and then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Wyleth is very big now."
I was just smelling the rose, and then all of a sudden,
it's a very
out of nowhere,
Han's way to go.
Right. If you think about it, it's possible that Saffron played the most thematic game of any of us, where he was just doing his own thing, having a great time, and then got eaten by a giant monster out of nowhere.
Didn't have Safi backing him up this time. That was the
hanging
problem.
out by a big green tree, and then you just got dunked on by a gigantic sword wielding.
So, I mean, you got to see a little bit of what the deck was doing. You saw the Hellkite Tyrant. You saw the Perforos for haste. I'm probably not going to go, like, super in-depth on the deck just because I'm definitely going to bring it back in the near future because I know people really want to see it. And I didn't get to show off too many of the shenanigans. But really, a bunch of ways to protect Hans, like that's kind of step one. There's some cool equipment, like Magebane's armor is one that you don't really play anywhere in any other deck in Commander. It gives a creature +2/+4. It makes it lose flying and it prevents all non-combat damage that would be dealt to the equipped creatures. So that prevents the fighting damage. So stuff like that, Darksteel play, and then just a bunch of shenanigans to control the top of the deck so you can kind of set up your Hans. There's a Portals 3 Kingdom card whose name I'm probably gonna butcher, like How To Honored Physician, that lets you put a creature from your graveyard on top of your deck, which is really cool. Mirari's Guile, Sylvan Tutors. So there's a bunch of shenanigans once Hans got going. I think if I got another turn or two, I had the haste, I had some protection set up, so it was almost time for Hans to shine, but I'm gonna definitely bring it back for Revenge Week or something, because I think it can do a lot more than it got a chance to show this time.
Yeah, at the very least, you got to cast.
Did you, I saw you discard Regeneration at one point, which is totally awesome. Talk about a cool card to play in that deck. I thought that was sweet. Big question for me, though. I think this is what we all want to know. Does your deck have Shield of Cauldron in it?
It does not have Shield of Kaldra. It has Hammer. Wow. It has Hammer of Nizan, but it does not have... It does not have
Tomer is an
Cauldra.
advocate
and then,
for
and then if you need haste, you can run Helm of Cauldra.
Weird.
The problem is I
sword.
played on Commander Clash for a lot of seasons now, which means I've seen Cauldra be horrible like every other week for the last 5 years. So I've just learned.
I don't think
Tomer, how
horrible
could
is
you?
the term for it. I think it's just unlucky. I've just been unlucky for 2 years straight.
For 2 years.
Who's counting though? Who's counting? Really?
I've just been unlucky for 2 years.
I actually think one of the most interesting parts of building a Hans deck is figuring out what way you want to try to protect Hans. Because there are a bunch of options. We saw the regeneration. I talked about some of the equipment. There's also weird stuff like Bubble Matrix and like random static ability artifacts that can do some of that. So, and then there's also like the sword cycle, which when I was building the deck, I had swords in for protection at one point to put on the Hans. Protection from my own colors, which is a really weird way to actually play swords, try to protect from your own colors rather than your opponent's colors. So I think that's one of the most interesting parts of the deck. Like, you can play whatever big creatures you want, and then the top deck manipulation stuff is pretty standard. But when it comes to, like, actually figuring out how to protect Hans, you can go, like, an enchantment route, an artifact route, a weird artifact, like static artifact or equipment route. So there's a bunch of different potential packages for that part of the deck, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I love how open-ended that card is. And you look at it and it seems pretty straightforward, right? Like, oh, just like, plop the biggest thing in my deck into play when I tutor for it. But there's a lot of interesting things you can do to keep Hans alive. And I love that it makes you reach back into your toolbox and play with these cards that you might have never put in a commander deck otherwise. That's, to me, what the best commander designs do, is when you're finding a reason why regeneration should go into your commander deck, right? Like, that's a really cool moment.
Yeah, and Hans definitely does that too. There's a lot of cards that you wouldn't really play anywhere else that work really well with Hans. So I'll bring it back in the future. If you're watching on YouTube, don't worry, there will be more Hans in the future, and hopefully we see it go off next time.
Just Hans going to be queued up for next week, just randomly.
I might accidentally load my Hans deck next week and just not tell anyone until we're halfway through the game and you notice.
I mean, it's going to be Commander Legends theme, so appropriate. So another commander we didn't get to see cast, Nevinyrral, might have ended up being pretty decent that game, but we'll never know. Krim, what other cool shenanigans did you have in the deck that you want to pair up with your commander?
Legitimately, it was just mostly the Super Friends support that came with it, like Triumphant Reckoning, Tevish, and Sat's Will. Like, those are cards that I really were excited to play with from Commander Legends. Of course, if I got to, Hull Breacher or Opposition Agent somebody along the way, I wouldn't hate it. But, these are like the Commander Legends cards just, like, had a huge boost for a lot of my, like, Esper decks and like Grixis decks, so I was just really happy to play with all of them. I mean, other than that, it's your stereotypical kind of like Super Friends deck. This is the deck I built in paper. And I really like Nev. I think Nev, although like having Amanatu at all points is like also cool. I like having Nev being just in the hangar, just like waiting to blow up the board. Although I didn't get to do it this turn and I might have been a little greedy for it and maybe would have saved myself a little bit of life. But I figured I would draw into something, right? Like a Settle the Wreckage, more instant speed stuff to interact. Like Comeuppance would be nice. But the issue is, I know that, as long as there's another blue mage at the table, there's a chance for counter spells. So that's why I waited till Gavin was like tapped out. Of course, Fierce Guardianship gets around that. But yeah.
But one of the things I was really interested in seeing happen is, I think there was a lot of interesting potential for politics with Nevinyrral.
Yeah.
Because if Nevinyrral dies on not your turn, then I can end the turn with Obeka, and the person might actually end the turn to like keep everyone's permanence in play. So there's some like very interesting like counteraction there between those two cards. Now, if you sack it on your turn to Tevish, not so much. But I thought that was pretty interesting, because often Nevinyrral is a rattlesnake style card. Like, hey, don't attack me, I'll block and blow everything up. But Obeka actually, like, I can work in a weird way with other players to avoid that. So there could have been a lot of potential for shenanigans there. Not so much this time.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do that, and like Obeka just sitting there with the ability to end your turn was so brutal. I loved it though. It was awesome. I also was happy I got to play Wrong Turn. I think in the last week I've casted Wrong Turn almost every game I played. That card is so much fun.
I mean, it's such a powerful way to, like, it's never going to be a bad card in a game of Commander because so many decks are focused around their commander. So just not even letting them go back to the command zone, just putting them onto another side of the battlefield. The person who gets that card probably isn't going to get maximum value out of it unless it's like a huge beater. But you also just, you completely shut down the person's deck who has a deck built around that specific commander. Like imagine moving like the Obeka over, or like the
I
Wyleth.
wanted to do that so bad.
Yeah. That could have been insanity. So.
Right, or shifting Wyleth.
Yeah.
Shifting Hans is a lot of fun. Like all of us could do things with Hans. What are they? I don't know, but there's a lot of fun to be had there. I imagine like you giving Hans the Tomer, and then Tomer like buffs it up with a bunch of his auras, and suddenly like Hans is
Mega
attacking,
Hans.
but it's killing whatever it's bringing out. Right?
Yeah, maybe I should have saved Seth, but you know what? These are the decisions that I made.
It all worked out in the end.
Fair enough.
Well, for my deck, I mean, my deck kind of did everything it wanted to do. This is mostly a Voltron deck, which is a strategy that I generally don't aim for. But, I mean, I love the Aura archetype. I really do. It's always been one of my favorite archetypes for a long, long time. I love playing Boros in general, and Wyleth is just such a fantastic commander for the Aura archetype that I just had to go for it. Like I said before, there's not too many Aura commanders that really spoke to me, but when Wyleth just says draw a whole bunch of cards, I mean that definitely does speak to me. So I was super delighted to get it playing this time and drawing a bunch of cards and doing exactly what I want to do. This is mostly a white heavy deck, just because a lot of the best Aura support cards are in white. There's a bunch of cards that lower the cost of Aura spells. There's a lot of cards that draw you cards when you cast Auras. But my favorite cards are the ones that are the mass recursion cards for Auras in white. Retether being a huge one. It just returns each Aura card from your graveyard to play. There's also, you saw Open the Vaults. But also red offers some good Aura support too. Storm Herald is like a cheaper retether effect that just temporarily puts all the auras from your graveyard directly back onto the battlefield. So that can be a gotcha moment. And Breath of Fury was another way to take a bunch of extra turns in a row in extra combat steps in a row in an Aura form. And then if Wyleth gets shut down, I have the standard Enchantress token strategy where I have like Sigil of the Empty Throne, Archon of Sun's Grace, and Najani's Chosen, and also Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, just to turn all these enchantments and auras that I'm casting into a giant token army. So even if Wyleth gets shut down, I still have a solid backup plan. So I love this deck. It was super fun to play. I was really happy that it actually got to do things. I still regret attacking Seth the second time. Maybe I should have spread the love. I didn't intend to kill Seth with that one, but I was just really happy that I got to draw so many cards and get to showcase a lot of the really cool cards.
You were caught up in the card draw.
I
That's
know.
why you didn't pay attention.
I zoomed in on that. I was like, Seth might be drawing more cards than me with the Great Henge, so I have to attack him. And then, oops, a daisy. He's like, Wyleth with 18. Oops.
In your defense, when you swung at me, I actually didn't realize I was dead either. I wasn't taking Imperial Armor or whatever it was into consideration, so it got me by surprise too, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah, Imperial Armor, not bad. Not bad at all. Well, yeah, that was my deck. And then we got to see Obeka. And Obeka is such like a open-ended commander. There's so many cool cards that you could do with her. And Gavin, you got to show quite a nice amount of them. Like we got to see Final Fortune, which is probably like the most popular option. But we also got to see like Identity Thief, just perma-exiling things, which is also very powerful. Was there anything in particular that you didn't get to showcase?
Yeah, I'm sure my deck list will go up with the show, and I encourage you to go check it out because there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do here. I got to do a lot of fun things for sure. This game, I definitely drew the right cards to be able to do the Final Fortune style thing with not only Final Fortune and the Tutor for Last Chance and the Snapcaster Mage, which was pretty wild. But there's a lot of other fun stuff you can do too. Some of my favorites are Broodbirth Viper, which is Myriad. So if you attack with a Myriad creature, you get your tokens, you deal damage, then you end the turn. Keep in mind, all of your Myriad tokens also have Myriad. So the next time you attack, it'll trigger, all of your tokens will also trigger their Myriads. So that's pretty wonky and powerful. Also a card that I know is near and dear to your heart, Tomer. I had Arumi of the Dead Tide in here.
Yeah.
Because encoring, you'll keep all those tokens around. So when I was taking some test draws of this deck, one of my favorite draws I got was when I was able to Arumi Phyrexian Dreadnought to get 3 Phyrexian Dreadnoughts and then end the turn and just, hang out with a bunch of those guys. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, there's a bunch of neat combinations in this deck. I love that I got Kroxa rolling. That was pretty awesome. Hate Mirage is a card that I was really excited about, where I create 2 token copies of other players' creatures that go away at end of turn. Then you can end the turn with those. So a lot of fun stuff you can do here. And I'm really excited to see what other people come up with for this kind of strategy. But this was my take on it. Looking through my deck list, let me know what you like more. I'll say that the biggest tension with this deck, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is, and you saw it a bit in that game too, there are a lot of cards that want you to end the turn at the end of your turn with the end of turn triggers on the stack, and a lot of cards that want you to end the turn right away. So things like Kroxa want you to end the turn immediately because that way they'll stay in play. But if you do that, then any tokens you make off, say, a Flame Shadow Conjuring will go away during your next player's end step. So there's like a very, very careful thing you have to do there in where things happen. So there's a tension there. I decided to just be like, well, I'll figure it out while I'm playing. We'll kind of figure it out live and go down the route that's better for every turn. But if you're going to build Obeka, that's a thing that you might not think about initially that you really have to think about as you're building.
Yeah, trying to focus on either and like cards that focus on ending the turn at the end step or like immediately, and then leaning on those cards.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean that's just amazing. The fact that there's so much variety and like deck building consideration with Obeka, and it was a good showing too. Like we got to see a good variety of different cards that were really cool. And as always, viewers, you can always check out all our deck lists in the video description below. And now that we've talked about all our decks, we've had their games. Finally, I want to just talk to you, Gavin. Obviously, you're working behind the scenes at Wizards of the Coast, but you do have a social media presence, and I do know you have a YouTube channel. So where can people find you if they want to see more Gavin goodness?
Totally. Well, I always love a good dose of Gavin goodness. If you want to find me on Instagram or Twitter, which are probably the 2 social networks besides my YouTube channel that I'm most active at, it's just my name, so at Gavin Verhey. I'm easy to find. I'm other places too. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. But Instagram and Twitter are 2 of my most active places. The big new project for me during quarantine, the thing that's kind of started out for me, is I did create my own YouTube channel. It's called Good Morning Magic. I have new episodes up 3 days a week, and it's just kind of me going behind the scenes on Magic design and what we do at Wizards. So, for example, in my episode so far this week, I showed off a bunch of Commander Legends playtest cards. In the previous ones, I've shown off a bunch of stories and, behind the scenes stuff, and not just on new stuff too. I've shown off like design notes on old cards like Jace the Mind Sculptor and Blightsteel Colossus and all kinds of fun stuff. So, they're quick episodes normally, usually, about 5 to 10 minutes. So go on in, check it out. A lot of fun content for you there to check it out, and watch. And once again, that's Good Morning Magic. And hopefully I'll see you over there.
Awesome. And all those links are going to be found in the video description below. So check that out over there. And that will wrap up this Commander Clash. Thank you again so much, Gavin, for joining us and answering all our many, many questions. I'm sure if the game went on like another hour or so, we'd have like 10 or 20 more to bombard you with. But I really appreciate you being so open and just answering all these questions. And I think the viewers are going to enjoy it too a lot.
No, I mean, to me, the community is Magic, right? Like Magic is an amazing game. I love the game of Magic, but it really is the community that makes it all like truly the best game in the world to me. And so I love coming on shows like this and having the chance to play with you all. So thank you so much for inviting me on. And I know I'm 2-0 on Commander Clash so far, but anytime you want me back, I'd be more than happy to come back and play with you all again. This is always a blast. So thank you all for being here, and thanks to not only you but also Seth, Saffron for taking the time, and Krim for coming on as well. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
it was awesome playing with you, Gavin. I got to play with Gavin twice this week.
Well, maybe we'll do it again in the future when the opportunity arises, because it's definitely awesome to have you on. So definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem. And you have not seen the last of Commander products. I'm sure there'll be some stuff next year that you might be interested in. So we'll see what happens.
So we'll figure that out in the future. But for now, this Commander Clash is over. Hope everybody enjoyed this sweet game and all the information that we got to go throughout the game. Again, thank you, Gavin, for joining us. And that'll be it, folks. So until next week, everyone, see ya. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up with the latest and greatest, click on the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to check out similar videos, click on the links here and here.